Hey guys, coming to you live from the USA Boxing Bubble in my hotel room. And I have my special guest, Ohio Runs Boxing, Marcus Nall. How are you doing?
Pretty good. What's good,
Good.
guys? Hey, Ohio runs boxing, baby.
Ooh, Ohio Runs Boxing.
hmm
So we were supposed to have another host tonight, and he's going to jump in whenever he can. Sean Hicks from Long Live Boxing EnVivo. But I want to go back to what you just said. Ohio runs boxing. For people that are new to boxing, they may think, "Oh, really? You think Ohio runs boxing?" But there is a history. I mean, there are
hmm
many champs, national champs, Olympians, coaches that come from Ohio. And what do you always say? If you're going to be from Ohio, you should what? Why shouldn't you think you're the best? What is it that you've told me before?
Yes, it's about Ohio run boxing is about pride. Some people just look at it. It's not only just about us feeling like we have the best boxers, but it's boxing. It's not just fighters. I feel we have the best YouTubers, boxing journalists, coaches, promoters. It's boxing as a whole, outside and inside the ring. So even when you have people say, "Oh, Ohio only got like one champion right now," I said, "Well, Al Heyman is from Ohio and he's running things right now." So it's really a big brand. It's not just the fighters and the trainers. It's more than that. It's just everybody that are got our hands involved in boxing. The Don King was a part of the biggest fights in history with with Muhammad Ali and Foreman. Was what Muhammad Ali, Foreman. Then you got Al Heyman, Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd Mayweather. So it was always Ohio had our hands in a lot of things, and people didn't understand that. His boxing in history. The biggest upset in history is Buster Douglas from Columbus, Ohio, against Mike Tyson. So these things is going to be historical. Even on the other side, if you want to look at the negative side, you go with Texas. Shout out to Texas. I think the the vicious knockout ever female boxing is Aaron Wolf
And well,
uh
that's my girl.
against what's her name for Vada, I'm trying to think of her name, Vada Ward.
Oh yeah, Vonda Ward, yeah,
She was from Ohio.
yeah.
So that was one of the big. That was even that was a knockout that was bad on our side, but that's still in history. You'll never forget that. So I always look at the negatives and the positives, but overall, Ohio run boxing. I just wanted to let everybody know it's been about pride and being proud of where you're from and talking about the history from the journeymen, the amateurs coming up. And a lot of people that don't give some of these fighters recognition. I wanted to build a platform on that. So that's pretty much what Ohio Run Boxing is pretty much based on. It's just pride, unity, and support one another. So that's pretty much what it's about, really. And it's controversial.
Absolutely. You
hmm
know, and you mentioned Ann Wolf, who's from Texas, Austin, Texas. So we
hmm
our heavyweight champ for USA Boxing, Danielle Perkins or Damian
hmm
Chambers. She's from Houston. And she reminds me so much of Ann Wolf. She's in camp with us now, getting our girls ready for these two tournaments that we have, one in Germany and one in Paris. And when I watch her and her power and her attitude, her amazing attitude, I love that girl. She reminds me so much of Ann Wolf. I don't know if you're familiar with her or not,
Is she
but
1-0 right
she
now as a pro?
1-0. Yeah,
I've
she's
seen
one
her.
to 0. She just had her pro debut.
hmm
And she's going to do great things. She really is. But I have to ask you, so I can understand the pride of Ohio, and
hmm
and we should all believe that our state is the best and that we have the
Right.
best coming from it. Absolutely. But I want to know where this hat comes from. You got to talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was funny that it came. First of all, I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, and I like Outkast. That was one of my favorite music groups growing up. Uh, Mortal Kombat was great, and I was like, this for people who know Mortal Kombat, they know when they see this hat, they think of Mortal Kombat. So
Yeah, that's true.
they think of Mortal Kombat. So Outkast, Andre 3000, he was unique in his own way. He used to wear shoulder pads in videos, and I remember him dancing, and he was always dressing crazy. Where you be like, why is he wearing that? But it was his style, and it was to his character. So the hat came from just wanting to be like being standing out, wanting to be different. I seen that Don King had the hair. He was the promoter, and everybody knew Don King from the hair. Al Heyman. He's the
Sure.
mystery guy. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't never see him, but he getting all this praise, and it drives some people crazy. But and here I am, I'm the one with the hat, and it was so crazy because when I started the Ohio Run Boxing, I was going to the fights, but I stayed low. I would be in the nosebleeds. I was watching, observing everything, everybody, every fighter. And once I started to have my hat and started to be noticed, everybody started knowing who I was. And then I knew I was really buzzing when they started wanting to take pictures, when the fighters was coming up to me. And it was like, that's more Ohio Run Boxing. So they was really coming. And I'm like, what? You know, they want to take pictures with me. And the amateurs, the kids love me. So it was just like, it's almost like a mascot a little bit with the hat. But it's unique. I didn't think a lot of people was going to like it. This is something I wanted to rock at the fights myself. So even when I'm at the big fights in New York, I hear people in the crowd, and I have a little date. Oh, we're boxers! Hey, you know they coming, and I'm like, oh snap, you gotta.
No, it definitely. I mean, it definitely stands out. I mean, what you're going for is amazing. Like I think it's great. Like it just goes with your personality and everything. Clarence McLean says, "What's up, Ohio Runs Boxing?" Hello, Clarence. How you doing?
Hey, Clarence.
And then Tiny Tim says, "Yo,
What's
up?"
good?
You know. But one thing I want to talk about too is like you get some criticism. Like there's some people that are like, "Oh, you think you're the best," and they like inbox you and like they're
yes.
free. Like talk to us about that.
Man, it's crazy. I get a lot of that. I had to. Some of them, I don't know. It seemed like I don't know if it's a reality check or something, but Ohio Run Boxing, I knew it was going to be controversial when I came up with the idea. Because Ohio Run Boxing, who do you think know it? Ohio don't run boxing, Texas run boxing, LA run boxing, and you get a lot of people that go into that. Which Texas do got a great boxing history, but some of those people who do say that all the time, I tell them, I said, okay, give me some names, and they can't. They only give you certain names, and I'm like, no, do your history. Texas got wonderful boxers. Philadelphia, the history for Philly is crazy. Detroit, the history for Detroit. So you get a lot of these people that get real upset at me and say, "Oh, Ohio don't run boxing." They take it real personal, but it's more of me just being a mirror. It's like, look, if you feel like your state is the best, then go promote it like it's the best.
Agreed.
That's what I'm doing. Promote it like it's the best. Why I don't see you talking about anybody from Texas on your page? If you feel Texas runs boxing or LA runs boxing, or I get a lot of people from different states that love what I'm doing because how I rock with my state. I'm loyal. Don't nobody question me when it's time for my boys to fight. They know where I'm at. They know where I stand, you know. But at the end of the day, I still can break down the fight. I know where certain fighters have the advantage that's for different state that's over the fighter that I like. And I will mention that. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh, he's gonna win just because he's from Ohio. I can break down the fight. Right. Exactly. I can break down the fight, but I get a lot of controversy. But let me tell you one thing that a lot of people didn't notice. A lot of the trolls stopped trolling my page a lot because all the Ohio fighters that was following me was interacting with them.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so when they start talking about Kelly Pavlik and the GOAT, he's been the same. Right. When they talked about Kelly and Kelly respond to some of them like, hey, man, I wasn't this. And they're like, oh, my God, Kelly, can I add you as a friend? Yeah, it was so hilarious. It's not the only one. It's a whole bunch of them. I remember when Mikey Garcia was fighting Robert Easter, it was people calling Robert Easter bees, all these, like, all over on my page. It was crazy. And I remember his family inboxing me saying, hey, man, do you know these people? Because we're going to get at them if you don't shut them up.
You're like, get at them. Please.
Right. And I was like, let me calm some of these guys down because they was, you know, it's different when you just talking on the internet. You got a lot of these guys who just talk and they ain't never been to fights. They don't even go to fights. So yeah, you get a lot of those trolls, but at the end of the day, the fighters made me who I am too because they embraced me and they love what I was doing. So when you see all those fighters interacting, like, you know, showing me love, it's a beautiful thing. So it's a really
it really is. You're doing a great job. Just real quick, I want to say Sean Hicks, who was supposed to be joining us tonight, poor thing, he's having some trouble with his internet. And then Clarence McLean says, boxing runs the world. I love this sport. And then Sean was saying, yeah, check them trolls.
Right.
It's so funny because, you'll hear stuff, I have not heard anything about myself, as far as media, but as far as like, being a female coach, I've heard, oh, it's because she's a girl that, she's at USA Boxing when there's been many women before me. And also, the funniest thing I heard today, it's just hilarious. I had to laugh and then block the dude. But I heard, whenever I do mitts, I blink, and I'm just like, yeah, I'd be like, don't blink. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, don't blink, don't blink, you know. And it's so funny. And these same people that talk about you are coming up to you and like, oh, can I get a picture? And hey,
Yep.
it's like, whoa, dude, really? Like, you're really a hater, but sure, we can take a picture.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I know you get that too. Like,
I do.
Crazy things that you've had, or people have said something about you, but then they're like, when they see you in your face, they're like, hey, can we get a picture?
I had one. It was crazy. I had one guy who's been following me for the longest. I mean, he was actually giving me donations. Not once have I asked for donations or anything yet. I really haven't done that. He was sending stuff to my Cash App. Now, make a long story short, all I said was something that disagreed. A fighter, it was a fight he was talking about, and I disagreed on him. That's all I remember. And he went off, and he was going on to the point where he was saying, oh, you're clout chasing Ohio guys, and this and this. And I'm like, clout chasing? I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how am I clout chasing? I talk about journeyman. I talk about everybody. So I'm not picking and choosing. I talk about everybody from the state, guys you have never heard of. So how am I just clout chasing? So it actually got to me a little bit because I'm like, where's all this coming from? So make a long story short, I gave him my number. I said, call me, because I'm saying all this. I ain't about to read a book. And, he said all this. I said, give me a call. So he called me, and it took him about 30 minutes. He said he was at his mom, and he made it short. I kept texting me back and forth. And I'm like, okay, well, hit me up. This is so serious. It took him about 45 minutes to actually hit me up. So by the time he hit me up, let me tell you, this
take a few tequila shots.
Maybe.
Liquid
this
courage.
Dude, he gets on the phone and say, man, oh man, hey, it's an honor to speak to you. I'm finally, I was just playing the whole time. I was just trying to get your attention. I'm like, huh? What? It threw me from a loop. I said, what? You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to say that, which I don't believe in. But his energy changed, and he started telling me about certain fighters that he got in the city that he was in Ohio. He was like, yeah, I want you to come take a look at them and this and that. I'm like, oh, nah. It was just so weird.
It's so funny. I mean, as Sean, he just said, people are always trying to diminish the accomplishments of others, and it's jealousy. And it's so true. It's like, why can't we support each other? There's
Absolutely.
for everybody. We all have a place in this boxing world. It's okay. Clarence McLean says, I want to become the first promoter to only promote women fighters. Sounds crazy, but I'll take my chances. You know what?
I love that idea.
Go for it.
That sounds great.
Anything I can do,
I'm down. Supporting. Yep. I'll support that. Hey, we on video recording. I support that. Even donations. If you need me, I got you. I love that, because it's all about being unique in the whole way too. That's why I created what I did, and it was unique. I just didn't just create it. I wanted to have I wanted to be not just real different with the flames, fire, where every time somebody see fire, they think of me. You know what I mean?
I do.
Right.
Every time I cook, I think about you.
That's good. That's good. So I wanted, the fire is what the lion, the fire. I just wanted to keep it just like that, so when people see it. And I haven't even started the merchandise. I have fighters who want to wear my brand and come to and go to the ring. That's another thing. When I got involved into the matchmaking, and people start hitting, promoters was hitting me up over fighters that wasn't even mine. And I'm like, you can call him. And they said, okay. So when they reached the fighter will call me, because I had a lot of
honey.
I know. Oh, trust me. I was making the money, and like I said, the finder's fee, I didn't even understand it at first. What they was doing, they would hit the fighters up, and the fighters would hit me up, because certain journeymen was like, hey, nobody wasn't even offering me fights till you start talking about me on the page. And yes, they said,
beautiful thing.
Right. And they said, yeah, and he said nobody was offering me anything, so they started giving me a percentage of their purse. And I was just like, wow, you know what I mean? So it was a blessing to see that unfold. Absolutely. So a lot of stuff was getting thrown at me. So when I started going to the fights, they was like, "Oh, you're not paying for anything. Get in here." So I was just like, "Oh, okay." So it
Yeah,
was,
and the thing is that we don't do things to like get anything in return,
yeah.
but it's so nice when you do. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just the appreciation. You know, it's nice to
Yeah.
be appreciated. You know, for what we
That's
do.
it. That's it. I got a passion for this. The money comes second. You know what I mean? I got a real good passion for this. So I just love it. Others, the boxing. One thing I've never really called a fighter a bum because I've been with these fighters personally. I see
Yeah,
these guys grinding, and you understand exactly where I'm coming from.
absolutely.
Uh, I understand the trash talk when fighters call each other bums and stuff
Sure.
like that. They deserve that. They can do that. They earn
Yeah.
that, and they can talk the trash. But I think from a fan perspective, who never really put on the gloves sometimes too,
I
uh,
agree.
calling somebody a bum, it's just like, come on, it's like,
It's life or death. You step in the ring, it's literally life or death.
right.
You know,
And
so how
now,
can anyone be a bum? You have to be mentally, physically, emotionally able to get into that ring and to dominate or not dom or or to be dominated. You
mhm.
know, there are no bums in boxing.
None. And it's so crazy. We got one, and you probably didn't heard of him, Reggie Strickland. Have
I
you
have
heard of?
Reggie Strickland.
That
Yes.
was the one that had 279 losses in box rec, pretty much the most losses ever. I was more amazed at his box rec because he only had 25 knockout losses out of 279 losses.
You
To me,
wonder
that
if
was
mission allowed him to keep fighting.
no, I don't know how, but here's the thing. I got insight here in Ohio. They gave me some. I heard that he was actually had four different fighters because he was under different names, and that was even crazy.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Hmm.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
was yeah, that was crazy too. So yeah, but guys like that, you just oh man, it's just you got so much respect for him because if I get knocked out just probably once or twice, I might not want to fight again. That's just
Dude, if I
me.
get knocked out once or twice, real talk. No, 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 no,
I
no.
still remember a fight to this day was Curtis Stevenson against David Lemieux. And I remember Curtis Stevenson getting knocked out. You remember that? He get
Yes,
knocked out, HBO. And what's going through my head is this dude not only get knocked out, but he gets knocked out in front of his mother
I know.
on his birthday.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just like, oh man. So, but these guys are warriors. So me personally, I take pride in that. Definitely being there with those guys, man. And journeymen. We got some of the best journeymen. I promote them like they never won sometimes. You know what I mean? That's just
As
me.
you should.
Right, right. Darnell Boone, he's a monster,
Oh my
man.
gosh, he just fought what 2 weeks? Was it 2 weeks ago, or when did he fight? Just
Yeah.
recently?
No, I didn't know he had a fight. See, I didn't even know he was fighting. I think he fought last year, but I know
Oh,
he been slowing down right now.
I'm,
But
I'm mistaken then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Darnell is
I got into this USA boxing bubble on the 6th, so I don't know what's been going on. I've heard a
right.
few things, people talking or whatever, but we don't have like boxing on the TV or anything. So what's been going on since the 6th? I know something about Canelo and I know some other things, but I don't really know. So what do you know about what's been going on lately?
Well, first the thing is this Gary Russell. I know you've been hearing a little buzz about the
But
Gary Russell situation.
yes, but I heard it was canceled.
Now it is. It got to the point where I don't know. I feel a certain way about this. It's like,
Tell us how you feel, Marcus.
man, it's crazy. I just think these fighters should be fighting the fights in their division. I look at that as a moral victory. I do believe in moral victories.
Yes,
Hold on,
absolutely.
Bob. I'm on here. I do believe in moral victories. I believe in moral victories. I believe that if a fighter goes up 3 or 4 weight classes,
Hmm.
he's in a great position because if he lose, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, look, he was showing himself. He was macho man. He showed that he had heart." And to me, I'm just like, at least make the fight competitive.
Yeah,
Uh,
because if the other guy wins, they're going to be like, "Oh, he was bigger. He should have won. He was supposed
abs-
to win." Just like whenever he
abs-
was calling out Crawford, I'm just like, "Really, dude? You know, yes, you're fast. Yes, you're great. Whatever. But in your division, don't try to go up 2, 3 weight classes and call out somebody who is so dangerous. And then if he does win, it's like, oh, well, he was smaller. You know, so you don't get credit there.
yeah, right. None at all.
Anyone
Not at all. You don't get none at all. I just Crawford would destroy
Ugh,
that
absolutely.
man. And Crawford moved up and it was stopping welterweights. People need to pay
Right.
attention to that. They
No,
talking about, oh, these are nobodies, man. Stop it. Stop it. For him to be, that's who you should put on the pound for pound list, is when you got guys moving up, and down on weight classes. He did it with British Prescott. He come from 135, go up to 40, come back down to 135, and you know, he being undisputed is hard. It's hard to be undisputed.
Absolutely, it's hard.
It's hard. So
people don't understand. That's why they don't give him the respect, because these are people that are sitting on the couch eating potato chips and drinking beer and telling people what they should and shouldn't be doing.
And opinions. Absolutely, and this is why I debate accomplishments over opinions, because opinions change. One minute they'll praise you. Just for here's an example of Kovalev. Okay, I don't like Canelo. I didn't like Canelo actually going up to fight Kovalev, but I respected it. I respected it because it was still an accomplishment. And it was a dangerous fight to some people. Now Kovalev was just coming off a win against Yard, who was undefeated. Who was undefeated, right? Everybody had him losing. That I remember, didn't nobody had Kovalev beating Yard.
That's
soon as he beat Yard, okay, they oh, that was a good win, but he didn't look good, whatever. As soon as Canelo, the next fight, go up and say they about to fight him, people already start downing him. Like, oh, you about to win this fight anyway. Kovalev just came off a good win, and you calling him old now. He just beat a young prospect, and we already calling this guy old, and he washed up. I know that pretty much what they're telling me is Canelo is that good. That's pretty much what you're saying. And I get it. I want to see Canelo against the young dogs too as well. But we can't take that accomplishment away from him, because Kovalev still had good wins towards the end of his career. He beat Alvarez. He came back. He lost to Alvarez, and he came back and beat him in the rematch impressively. So, you know, I pay attention to all this. And I think sometimes our emotions get in the way, and you hate a guy, so you criticize him, and you don't want to give him credit when the same fighter you like doing probably the same thing.
And I hate to say it, but boxing fans can be the worst, because it's like when you're up, they love you, they praise you. Oh my gosh, you're the best. But as soon as you get a loss or whatever, it's like, he was a bum anyway. He's garbage. I never really thought he was that good. It's pitiful.
It is. It really is. And some of them is causing the reason why boxers moving the way they are right now.
Yes, that's so true.
I don't think Terrence Crawford. I'm an Ohio guy. I think Sean will give Crawford a run for his money if they actually fought. But this is my thing. Sean doesn't have a belt, and I don't think Crawford is running from it. It's just, if I beat Sean Porter, y'all gonna call Sean Porter washed up. He already got 4 losses. He lost all his big fights. We know it's coming. So it's like, we know it's coming. So the Kell Brook fight is supposed to be, and they're already down in Kell. I think Kell is a big welterweight, and it's gonna be interesting. I think that's gonna be a real interesting fight, because I watched these guys.
I mean, we saw Kell with Errol, and he already had victory.
Yep.
Sorry, I love Errol. That's my guy. You know, I love him. But the first 9 rounds, what was happening?
Kell Brook was winning.
You know,
everybody seen that.
Absolutely, and that's my point. Kell is no bum or walk in the park. You know, he's solid. He's real.
He's a solid guy.
A real challenge. You know, so I love that fight.
I do too.
I mean, of course, definitely. Do we want to see Errol Spence and Crawford? Most definitely. But first, we need to see Errol Spence and Garcia. You know? And then we can make the assessment of how he is. I believe he's good. I know he works really hard. But I'm really curious to see how the fight goes. I'm definitely for Errol 100%. But let's see what happens.
I think that fight with the Danny Garcia and Errol Spence is very, very it's closer than I thought it was before in the first. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was gonna be, because I watch these fights, I look at the style. So many people get caught up in names. I never fall for the names. When people say, oh, Crawford need to fight names, I'm gonna tell you right now, I put money down. Crawford beats Danny Garcia so easy. Because of lateral movement. Danny does not do well with lateral movement. Mauricio Herrera, Lamont Peterson, the list goes on.
I think Herrera beat him.
Me too. I did too. I had in Puerto Rico. And that was a cherry pick that went wrong because he was supposed to knock out Mauricio Herrera, who didn't have a lot of punching power. Right. So you know what I mean. So that's
him.
Huh? Yeah, he did. He outfought. That was, and you can see Danny getting frustrated, hitting the gloves. But I say that to say this. I think Danny's style and Earl's style is the styles. Earl is gonna come to fight. Earl's gonna come to show people this accident didn't do anything to me. I still got it. Now he's supposed to have Blu-ray. So I think he's a come forward fighter. He can box, but he really likes to come forward and put pressure on you.
He does.
And that plays in the hands of Danny Garcia because Danny likes
circles around him.
He can right. And Danny likes the time. Danny likes the guy that comes to him. Mm-hmm. He looks good when you got the Robert Garcias, the Brandon Rios, those guys that just come straight forward. He hit you with the left hook. So that's why this fight is interesting because of their styles. I pay attention to the styles. So if Earl come to box, if Earl just want to box, he wins it easy. I don't think Danny has a chance.
That's the thing is EJ can box too. I mean I've seen like he was here. He was a part of USA Boxing. He was the #1 152. He knows how to box as well. So it just depends on what he decides to do and what his corner tells him to do. What they've been working on.
Yep. And there's another thing too, even with the Mean Machine fight the other night, I always liked Kovalevskis before people knew who he was. I always thought he was a hard puncher. He knocked out some of Mahal guys I seen firsthand before he even got up in the ranks. And they was tell you, guys who've never been knocked down before, he was putting them down. He can punch. And I told people before he fought Crawford, that Crawford, this was going to be the hardest puncher Crawford had faced. I said that. I told people that he was going to be the hardest
fight, and it was something else. It's like so different, to be there than to see it on TV, because you can actually hear the punches, you can see the staggering, you can see, things that you can't see on TV. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy is real. But you know what? Crawford, he did his thing.
And that's the thing. Hardcore is like me and you. We give Earl Crawford so much respect. That was a big win to him, because we seen this guy. We seen Kovalevskis. I've seen him, and a lot of people don't even know that he lost. Him and Earl Spitz lost to I forgot his name, that won gold medal that same year. I think Kovalevskis bronze. He was the bronze medalist, so he actually bronze. But him and Earl lost to the same guy that year in the amateur. I forgot his name, but his feet work was. Oh yeah, his feet work was crazy. You can look it up on YouTube. You guys go ahead and watch that. Yes, it's on YouTube. But I forgot the guy's name. He was from Argentina, I believe. But his feet work was crazy. But just to go, I brought that up just to say, Kovalevskis wasn't no pushover. A lot of you guys, boxing knowledge doesn't evolve just around your knowledge. Right. Just because you ain't never heard of the guy, he's got to be a bum. Do your research. Exactly. Right. Do your research. I hear that all the time. Just do your research. I mean, I get it. Sometimes that's policy. You get a guy that come out of nowhere like Ocampo. I get it. Where did Ocampo come from? We don't know where he came from to be a mandatory.
Politics, baby.
Right. So we got to know how to rightly divide it, because we do get some guys that's not deserving to be in those spots. I know it. So we definitely want, but we have to know how to divide it and watch and pay attention to what we actually see. You know what I mean? So
Sean has a question. He said, do you think that Mean Machine hurt Crawford in the fight? What do you think?
I think he clipped him. I think he did. He turned it up, because Crawford, if he gets hurt or he feels buzzed, Crawford turns it up. I think Crawford turned Super Saiyan, and that's what he did.
Into the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's what he did.
Yes, I do think Kovalevskis hit him, and he fought. And this is why I was so impressed with that fight, because he actually did fight Kovalevskis' fight. That's where Kovalevskis is an inside guy who likes to hit you with power shots, man. And Crawford said, I'm going to beat you right here. And I can remember Bomac said, Bomac didn't even want that game plan. But right. But I was impressed with that, because I didn't think Crawford was going to stand in the pocket and exchange with that man like that. And he did. Mind you, he's coming up from 135, 140 to 147. And he's doing that to natural 147 pounds.
Yeah, that are coming down 15, 20 pounds.
That's crazy.
You know, the thing is that what people don't know about Crawford is like he doesn't like to lose at anything, nothing, whether it be Pac-Man, ping pong, basketball, whatever. He doesn't like to lose.
Yep, he's very, very competitive.
Him, and this dog comes out. And
yep.
You know what? It's so important in boxing with these boxers. You have to have that dog.
Yep.
Because if you don't, you're going to get run over. And Crawford has that dog. Absolutely.
Absolutely. He has that. He has it. Earl Spence has it.
Yes.
Even guys that coming up from Ohio. You know, I'm always have to bring my guys up, but it's fact. Big Baby, Gerald Anderson out of Toledo, Ohio, he has dog in him. Now, he hasn't fought to the guy yet that's going to really, really bring it out, but you can see it in him. You can see him when he's mean. You can actually Charles.
Jared, you're talking about Jared Anderson?
Yeah, Jared Anderson, Big Baby,
he was in camp with us. Man, when I first started with Team USA, I was like, wow, this kid, he's going to be something, and he is. People have not seen what he can do.
Absolutely not. They haven't. Nope. Charles Conwell, Bad News. That's another one. Yeah, he's another one they had dog in him. I've told people I actually got him rated the #1 prospect coming out of the state of Ohio. Period. All the fighters out of the city, I have Charles #1. Baby, I could put Big Baby #1 because he's a heavyweight, but overall prospect skills, he has the better amateur background over everybody. But Charles Conwell, for people who don't know him, you're going to be knowing him at the 154 position, man. He's going to make a lot of noise at 154. He's mean. I'll tell Kai, I seen him spar. Every time I tell people, when he's mad, if he got anything going on personal at home, just let him hit the bag. Let him hit the bag. Don't let him get in the ring with nobody. Just hit the bag, Charles.
Right. But, let him get it all out first.
Right. Let him get that all out. Don't come to the ring come to sparring, come to the gym with some problems, man. But he's one. But pretty much back what we were saying, Crawford, he just got dog, and a lot of those other guys got dogs. And Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people don't know, he had dog in him. Floyd had dog in him. Floyd, you get Floyd in the round, he come back, and he's going to definitely get you back.
Most definitely. Hit me once, I'm going to hit you 3 times.
Right. Floyd had that, and a lot of people don't really give him that much credit, but Floyd did, especially in the Cotto fight. But yeah. He definitely.
That was awesome. So did you watch the fights this weekend? Like, what was going on, and who were you impressed with?
I missed all of them.
I
went to sleep. Yep, I missed all of them. But I came, like I said, I got the last of Kovalevskis, where he was actually, some people said he was down. And you know, the Earl Spence fans who don't like Crawford, which is so funny, they was like, oh, see, he ain't fighting nobody. He's a bum. And look at he was down and he finally won. So I heard all that. It was hilarious. But to me, I always look at it like I said this before. It's styles make fights, guys. You can't sit there. You can't. I'm gonna tell you a perfect example of style make fights. But Sugar Shane Mosley lost to Vernon Forrest. Sugar Shane was the #1 pound for pound fighter at that time, if people don't remember. He lost to Vernon Forrest. Vernon beat him twice, not once, but twice. Then Vernon, who just beat the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, lose to Ricardo Mayorga, not once, but twice. Okay? Does that mean Ricardo Mayorga was better than Sugar Shane? No, because Sugar Shane beat Ricardo Mayorga not once, but twice. So it's the styles plays that you have to look at when you really a boxing expert. You've really been in there. You done laced the gloves up. You done really. Some people ain't never boxed, but they still know what they're talking about too. I'm not going to sit there and say people who never boxed don't know what they're talking about. But you have a lot of people who experience, they got better depth, they know what they're seeing, they can break down a little bit better than what you actually see and point out things that you didn't see at first. You know what I mean? So but Styles is definitely the style. So they're picking on Mean Machine and saying, oh yeah, he was down and he finally stopped him, but he was down on my card and he was losing to a guy I never heard of. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Because they've never nobody.
He's nobody.
Sean Hicks says, do you think that Mean Machine can make bigger fights, deserves to more big fights? I do.
Yeah, I think I like him with Lepinev. I think he will. I think he can. I think he can beat Lepinev. I think Khan. I think he can beat Khan. He got some winnable fights. I think he can beat Ugas. A lot of people.
Wow.
Yes. Yep,
Wow.
I think Mean Machine can beat Ugas because Ugas, he's the only Cuban I've seen in a long time who fights in the high
No,
guard.
Ugas, yeah,
He
yeah.
just Ugas can fight.
He
Ugas is a
can.
great Olympian background, so no, but there's flaws about him. He got 4 losses for a reason,
That's true.
and
You're
he
right.
got 4 losses for. But he fights in the high guard, and it's frustrating. Like
Yeah,
his last fight, he won, but he got clipped twice. It's
right.
boxing. We're gonna get hit. They're gonna get hit. So I don't
Absolutely.
use that as a. But my thing is, you winning box. You get almost lose. He
Yes.
gets clipped at the end, and I'm like, come on, Ugas. Now, if that was Mean Machine. He's knocking him out.
Yeah, because he's got to fight.
Okay.
So
Huh?
Clarence McLean says styles make fights, which is true. That's what we're talking about. And a lot of people think it's just such a cliche in boxing. Oh, styles make fight. No, they really do. Like styles actually make fights. You know, a guy that can just throw bombs and can get beat by somebody who doesn't have the power, but he can run circles around him and box him. Styles
Absolutely.
absolutely do make fights.
I remember when what you read more? Go ahead, you can read more.
Oh no,
More
no, no.
count.
Go ahead. Say
But
what you were finishing
I
up.
remember when Laura fought Angulo.
Mm-hmm.
Angulo was style make fights and attributes make
Yes,
fights. Good attributes. Because you can have a style, but if you ain't got the attributes, you're gonna go down too. Uh
absolutely.
Angulo was able to cut the ring off on Laura, who can box.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hell
who
yeah.
got right. So he
Yeah, they're
knocked
the
Laura.
best.
He knocked Laura down twice in that fight. This is the prime Laura. So Laura almost lost that fight if he didn't stop him with that hematoma he got on his eye. People
Yep.
remember that fight.
Yes.
But it was Angulo. Now Angulo is not better than Canelo by no
Right.
means, but Canelo wasn't able to cut the ring off on Laura. That's why
Right.
Laura was able to box circles. Canelo don't like movers. He
Yep.
don't like those different
Stand in
guys that
front
give
of me. Let me knock you out.
absolutely. But Angulo knew how to cut the ring off. So it's the styles. I'm not saying Angulo's better than Canelo because Canelo beat Angulo.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
the thing is,
Absolutely.
it's the styles. We have to pay attention to it. So many people just want to bring up just the name and say, "Oh, he's gonna win because he beat this guy just now, or he beat this guy."
Mm-hmm.
Sean Porter is probably the only welterweight I think is so hard to prepare for. He's probably
Yeah.
the only one because he can box on the outside. He can rough you up. You don't know when he's coming. You know what I mean?
He's a little awkward. He's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
His
So
punches ain't always straight. They come from over here
yeah.
sometimes.
Yes.
So, so
We have a kid in camp, Raheem Gonzalez, and he was in camp with him for his last fight, and he said, yeah, he's short, he's little, but man, these punches were coming from everywhere. He gave him much props.
mm.
So Sean says, how do you all feel about people questioning Bud Crawford's resume quality? I'll let you answer that, and then I'll answer.
uh, I think it comes down. It depends on. We were just talking about this.
Yes.
A lot of people who question it. I'm gonna be honest. The people who do question it, they don't watch boxing. They don't watch these fighters before they come up. They only get
Absolutely.
the HBO. They only get these fighters when they sign. They don't really. They don't understand the accomplishments of certain fighters. For example, I can give you certain names that guys don't respect. Okay, Derek Jean is a guy who Crawford beat. Right, he was undefeated at the time, and Lamont Peterson beat Derek Jean.
Mm-hmm.
But Derek Jean didn't. Lamont Peterson went the distance with Derek Jean. Okay, Crawford stopped him. Crawford stopped him. Now people was praising Lamont Peterson when Earl beat him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when Earl was coming up. So this is one of the things where I looked at when you look at what Crawford is doing to these guys who are decent opponents. Adrian Broner fought John Molina.
Yep.
John Molina went the distance with John Molina.
Yep.
Crawford fights John Molina
Yeah.
and stops him.
Yeah.
He's showing you that it's levels to
I mean,
this.
even Delorme, when he fought Delorme and nobody knew who Crawford was, there was like no way was Crawford gonna beat him. Like there
Yeah.
was no way.
Delorme, Gamboa was a 50-50 fight. People fail to
Yes.
realize that. That was 50-50.
Yes.
Gamboa never lost. And
Absolutely.
as soon as Crawford beat him, most people start saying, "Oh, he's small." He is. It was a 50-50 fight.
Of course, yeah, absolutely it was.
So,
Because he can
but
box.
yeah, he can definitely box. But I think it comes down where a lot of people don't want to give him credit on his resume because they're Earl fans and they don't like him as much.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's people that want to see him fight the PBC side. They want to see him
Right.
fight certain guys that they feel is the best. But I remember Crawford saying this before too. Who you think might be the toughest fighters for him might be the easiest fight for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Might be the easiest fight for him. You just looking at.
I love Earl. I am a fan. You know, EJ, that's our guy. Known him since he was 15. He started boxing. But Crawford as a whole, I'm not ashamed to say that I think Crawford is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got Lion Killer coming in. Hold on. What's up?
What's good, man?
How's my partner on Blood and Gloves? Adonis, how are you doing?
Pretty good. She's just my partner in life. She's my good friend.
That's right.
So,
absolutely.
What's up, Marcus? What's cracking, man?
What's good, man? What's good?
Nothing much, man. You gotta send me one of those hats, though.
I got you, man.
I will rock that hoe, but it's gonna be Texas rules the world instead of Rose.
Man, Marcus, you're gonna have to put that on a cargo ship. You can't just like send that regular UPS.
No, it's gonna be in the box. Yeah, right. It's gonna be in the box, but I can get him. I can get one with his logo on it, man. I just get you on with your logo on it, man. I got you, man.
Just let me know what it costs, man. I got you. So
okay, I take food stamp. I got you. I take food stamp cards too.
Yeah, I make too much money for food stamps. That's the problem. I wish I could get it.
$1 more.
Hold on, real second, guys. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
I wanted to stop in and say hi. You know, I got off a live stream. I actually still got the screen up behind me, and with Nate. And I can't leave you hanging. You my homie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Clarence McLean said, "Lion Killer Podcast, what's up?"
What's up, Clarence McLean? How you doing, brother?
We've been having some good convo. Some really good conversations.
Yeah.
I had asked Marcus if he saw the fights this weekend because I'm in my bubble, and so I haven't been able to watch boxing. Did you get to see any of the fights this weekend?
I saw a round of the guy from Bulgaria, wherever he's from, last night on the Top Rank card. I saw him knock the guy out.
Was it Mean Machine?
Yeah, Mean Machine. I can't ever think of his name.
Crawford. We were just talking about him.
Yeah. That's the only thing I saw. I'm looking forward to watching the Charlo card, but I don't know if I'm going to pay for it. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
we didn't get to that.
Next.
Yeah, I'm taking umbrage to the price point. And my thing is, if you're a known commodity, and I love the Charlos. I love how they fight. I love their grit and determination. But you have to build a pay-per-view star. You have to build to pay-per-view, period. Mm-hmm. That is the tried and true form in order to generate the most profitability. It's the best way to know a fighter. If there is a buildup, it's not smart business the way they're doing things. I understand COVID-19, but at the end of the day, these cars should have been on major network television and not pay-per-view. And you're going to see, I hate to say it, but you're going to see a failure. And I hate that for those guys. I really do. But think about it. How much marketing have you seen from this fight since they've announced it? None, virtually none. And then you're going up against the UFC card, Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. You're not going to compete. That thing's going to do 1 million buys.
Right.
That thing's going to do 1 million buys. And if it doesn't do 1 million buys, it's going to come close.
And you've got a great point. I mean, what do y'all think needs to happen if you're a pay-per-view star or you want to be a pay-per-view star? What do you have to do? What do you have to do before this? Because, like you said, there's been nothing. You have to fight.
You have to fight the fights. Every fight that gets in your way. For one, it's something me and Nate were talking about on the podcast. you know, fight everybody in front of you, just like Henry Armstrong did. We were talking yesterday about Henry Armstrong versus Floyd Mayweather. And, you know, the one thing that we saw with Henry Armstrong in a 7-month period, he had 14 fights. From the time he won the lightweight championship to the welterweight championship, he had 14 fights in between that in a 7-month period. You don't see that anymore. Mike Tyson fought, what, 30 fights in less than a year and a half?
Right.
30 fights.
Yes, familiar. You got to be familiar. People need to see familiarity. They need to see the familiar faces all the time. More often. Bernard Hopkins, he did that in the middleweight division. He was fighting everybody, and that's why he had the longest reign. He had the longest reign, and we was familiar with Bernard Hopkins, and we seen him, and that's he wasn't a big pay-per-view attraction, but when he had pay-per-view, we was watching it because we knew who Bernard Hopkins was, Roy Jones, and other people. But you got to get these guys really familiar. Fighting 2 times a year it's not going to do it. No. It's just not going to do it. Definitely when you're trying to do it now and putting it on pay-per-view now. I'm not. I don't be honest, guys. I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get it. But I like to say I like the fights. I'm a hardcore. I get it, but I don't know about it being pay-per-view. And I'm a big supporter, man. But it's just
I'll be in Germany, like overseas, like we don't have to pay. It's like free. So
oh yeah, you good. You good.
Well, sie Heinst und Adun. That's Einstein Boxer.
They're speaking. I'm gonna know who wins and who doesn't.
Nein.
Right.
Nein, nur the boxer. Hey guys, I gotta go before I get a beating.
Go do your honey-do list.
Yeah. I wanted to come up here because Christine's she's my homie. And
absolutely,
we haven't been able to do bag. And so it's just everything's getting in the way of bag. We're gonna make bag happen. And if you don't know what bag is, it's blood and gloves. It's this and the Lion Killer podcast. Yes. And bag is about boxing, period. It's about from the amateurs to through the pros, everybody involved in the sport. And in the ring, Christine, we're going to push this thing till it's at the top of the mountain.
You know it.
So that's what it's about.
Shout out to Lion Killer.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Marcus, man, I'm going to catch up with you. I'm serious about that hat, dog. Texas rules the world.
I got you. I got you, man.
All right, man. I'm holler at you all later, man.
Thanks.
Take care. All right. Love y'all.
Yeah.
Love you too. Bye.
Number love, man. That's my dog.
We're going to wrap it up, but I have to say, so Jamal and Derevyanchenko.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough fight. What do you think?
I think a lot of people leaning toward Jamal, but I think it's going to be tougher than what a lot of people expect. I think he's going to have to dig down. I think we're going to see if he got a gas tank because Derevyanchenko is going to bring it, and I think he's going to bring pressure. I think that's the way to beat Jamal, is just to put pressure on him. And if he can
he's going to come straight forward, and he's going to be throwing those bombs. And can Jamal box him? Can he outbox him? Is he going to, or is he going to be like, okay, this macho thing's going to take over, which can in boxing, and is he going to stand in front of him and bang with him? That's going to be the game changer.
That's the real interesting thing. The Jamel and Rosario fight. That's going to be the winner. The winner go get. We have 3 belts. It's definitely going to skyrocket them. It depends on who wins. If Jamel wins, that is definitely going to make him even to that next level. Help him build to that.
Because Jamal beat Julian Williams, and Julian Williams beat Rosario. So
did he? No. Julian Williams didn't beat Rosario.
No. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Rosario beat Julian Williams. I'm sorry.
Right.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yep. Rosario beat J Rock.
Yes, he did. So that's going to be another. To me, these 2 guys are the test for the Charlos.
Yes. Rosario is tough, man. He's a tough. My thing is, I'm concerned about him taking Jamel's power. I am concerned. He has been, hurt a couple fights.
Right.
I've seen him hurt a couple fights, but he can crack too, right? So it's gonna see if Jamel can take that. We're gonna see if Jamel, but those are interesting fights. Those are really, really good fights that they got planned. They really do.
I'm excited for those. Sean Hicks says he really thinks that Rosario wins. You know what? I mean, right now it's 50-50 for both.
If Rosario boxed, I mean, I don't know if he can beat Jamel in the. Huh?
It's not impossible. If he boxes him, it's not impossible.
Yes, because I'm a big guy on film study. I'm a real big guy, and and sometimes boxers do change the game plan, but you also got to change the game plan with them. But Jamel doesn't do good with boxers either. I'm
No.
sorry, he doesn't. He doesn't do good with boxers. Tony Harrison was winning that fight clearly, and he
Yes.
did almost whatever he wanted to
Yes.
with Jamel when he was boxing him. And I was surprised because he was playing a mind game. But at the end of the day, it's boxing. He got hit with an exchange. No excuse. Jamel hung in there, and he got the win, and that was a good win. But he was
Well, and from a coach's perspective, okay, so boxers, they're dogs, they're warriors. All they want to do is box. It is up to a coach to study and to see what the weaknesses are and the strengths of the opponent. And then you adjust your fighter, to take away their strengths and to dominate on their weaknesses.
yeah,
So really, to me, at this point in the game, it's going to be up to Ronnie Shields and Derek James to tell their guys what they need to do to beat these guys, because they're the ones that are coaching the game. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So to me, at this point, that's what it all, comes down to. Let me see. So Clarence McLean says, Christine, how do you feel about women's boxing? And do you think that y'all get enough credit for the hard work put in? I love it. I love that we are finally like hitting the tip of the iceberg and women are making names for themselves. There's so many talented boxers out there today, pro and then in the amateurs. I was talking to Marcus earlier and I said, our whole team is amazing, the guys and the girls, but I can pretty much guarantee that all 5 of our girls are going to medal. We're going to qualify, we're going to medal in the Olympics because they are amazing talent. And I'm excited about the future. Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I think I don't know if do they get enough credit. That was the question. Do they get enough
You're
credit?
right.
I don't think that. I think we're starting to see that now, starting to recognize it. I think they're starting to get a little bit more buzz and respect, especially with Clarissa Shields. She has definitely helped the sport for women's boxing entirely. Like I start following a lot of female boxers, and it's definitely interesting. It's good to see the women fight. They can fight. There's some they got dog. You got some
definitely.
female. Yeah, so
that's almost natural. Like, I mean, women, it's like when I see them sparring or whatever, it's like, it's like a love hate. It's like women, we have this like thing with other women, it's
right.
Like, oh, you hit me. Okay. It's
Right.
Just something we should support each other. And we do. And I so encourage it. But when it comes to competition, man, you're going to see a whole different situation than the men.
And I'm gonna say this too, and a lot of people it's a lot of beautiful boxers who can fight. This era is crazy of beautiful women who's just not only looks, they can sell that on the market with their looks, but they can fight.
Agreed.
They're not just looks, but they can fight, and that's another big thing in this era. It's a lot of them. It's really crazy, but it's a good thing too. Always that's never fail. That's always good to have, So it's definitely
it is. I mean, whatever. Like, tune in for whatever. She's beautiful. She's tough. She's whatever. Just tune in because girls are making moves. They're making
absolutely.
Sure.
We got one.
A few more questions. So Sean says this will only be the second time the Charlers are on the same card. That is very true. Cashel Alexander says Rosario kind of has his hands down. There has been times, I've seen that. And if he gets caught at the right time, like, I'm sorry for him because that's not going to be good. And then Lewis said the card is fire, which it is. And then Sean says, Coach Christine, how hyped is the team before you all hit Germany? Very hyped. Everybody's been in quarantine. A lot of gyms all over the United States have not been open. So they have not really been able to train like they wanted to. So being in camp, this is our second camp before our trip to Germany and Paris, and they're hype. I mean, they couldn't wait till all the results came back negative and they could start touching, like tic-tac and sparring. We spar on Monday and they're super excited. Let me see. Once female boxing goes to 3 minutes, once it goes to 3 minutes, in my opinion, you're going to see some more knockouts. The girls want it. There's supposed to be some medical reason why, you know, that women can't go 3 minutes, but I mean, we go through minutes, you know, here in the amateurs and sparring and in competition. So
Yeah, I don't understand that either. It's just crazy to me. It's like they should go 3 minutes. So.
most definitely, I totally agree. Sean Hicks says the popularity will increase dramatically. I totally agree with that. Do you agree with that, Sean? Like, Marcus, as soon as, you know, we can go 3 minutes, that
Yes, I
yeah,
think that's definitely that's a key factor is just those 2 minute rounds. They need those women are professionals. They and they be looking great in the ring. You know, understand? I think take an extra minute away from us, and you know to really judge the round like we want to judge the round like correctly. It's just that 1 minute is precious.
well, I
Uh,
have to ask you this before we wrap it up. But so we were talking about Clarissa Shields, and so the Clarissa Shields and the Hannah Gabriel's fight. If that would have gone 3 minutes, do you think it would have been a different outcome, or do you think it would have been the same outcome?
that's a good question, man. That was Gabriel's deserve a rematch like
She wants it.
crazy. I don't think we won't see anybody that's closer that's to really compete with her. But Gabriel, yes, I think that would have been a total different fight
Yeah.
if we had that extra minute. Because Gabriel, she was coming on strong, so it was a
Yes.
real good fight. But it was a
And she went
real
up in weight. She went
and
up in weight. And if you look at her amateur background, she has only had one amateur fight before she went pro. I
see,
am
I didn't know that.
totally impressed with this woman.
I didn't know that,
Totally. Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I was in love with her. I said that's my
Yes.
heart.
I think
I,
everybody's in love with her.
I didn't want Clarissa to hit her in the face. I'm like,
You're
don't
like,
you do
don't
that.
hit her face.
But she
It's
can
so
bang. She's
true.
another one. She can
Yeah.
fight, man. She can fight.
She's beautiful inside and out. She's a wonderful spirit. She is. I'm a fan of hers for sure. But you know what, Marcus, I appreciate you so much for coming on. This is our second attempt. The first time, I don't know what happened. The second
Right.
time, Sean was supposed to join us. I don't know what happened, but it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna
It's
keep
gonna
on
work. We're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together.
most definitely. So, are there any shout outs or where can people find you?
Uh, easy. Ohio runs boxing, guys. It's gonna be
Yes,
everywhere. You know what I mean?
yes.
IG, Facebook. I'm Marcus Nall. I haven't, like I said, I haven't got my YouTube up and running like I want. So I've been doing little stuff here and there. But once I start to really start moving, y'all definitely see that. But
Let's
just
go. I want to
yeah,
subscribe. Let's go.
I know, right? So y'all just tune in. But it's Ohio Run Boxing, and that's it. That's all I have to say right now. Hey, y'all stay tuned. We coming. We coming.
Tommy
Stay.
said, great show, great guest. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it. And Clarence said, great show tonight. I appreciate you,
Yeah.
Clarence.
Thanks. Thanks.
I appreciate you so much. And
Yeah.
everybody, please follow my guy, Ohio Runs Boxing. Don't get
Tommy.
offended. Don't get offended because that's what he should be doing. And wherever we come from, we should be saying the same thing. So let's
Mm-hmm.
get it. I thank you all for tuning in. And until next time,